drink all the tea. Oh, this may be the best tea that I have ever drunk in my life, in my whole life. Oh, seriously, best tea ever. Oh, best tea ever. I may need some time alone with this tea. Hello everybody and welcome to Inside number 23, my podcast about sewing and knitting and my crafty life in general. My name is Katie. You can find me on Instagram as misslavellia. You can find me on Ravelry as misslavellia. We also have a Ravelry group, which is the Inside number 23 Ravelry group, which is where I post my show notes, but I also add them in the little down bar below. So any questions or queries about what I'm talking about in general, that is the best place to look. I first of all want to say a huge welcome to any new viewers. I have had some new subscribers this week, so hi and welcome, and obviously a huge welcome back and I love you to anyone who's coming back for another visit, or some of my long-term subscribers. Hello to you all. And yeah, it is Sunday. It is the 28th of February. We're nearly in March already. How on earth has this happened? I know that February is the shortest month of the year, but this month has just zipped by. Literally, I turned my back and it was gone. I haven't got as much knitting done as I would like this week. And mostly that's because so many of you lovely people got in touch with me about swapping mini skeins with me. So this week I have spent a huge amount of my spare time winding scraps of yarn into little mini skeins, which has been really fun, but because I am such a perfectionist, I had to have them all the same shape and the same size, and they all had to look the same way, and it took a while, so it has taken away from my knitting time, but I really can't wait. This week I'm going to get those parcels sent out, so if you're expecting a parcel from me and you know who you are, it will be coming soon, so yay! On that same note, I am pretty much all done for mini skein swaps at the moment. I've almost run out of scraps of yarn now because of the amount of people who are interested in swapping with me. So I physically don't have anything left to swap now, guys. I'm so sorry. So to anyone who is getting in touch asking about swaps now, at the moment the answer is going to be no. Thank you so much if you have shown interest. It's so lovely of you to get in touch. I also wanted to say a special hello. This is something that I wanted to say last week, but it completely slipped my mind because I have a brain like a sieve, which is a special hello to Amanda, who is Knitting Mummy on Instagram, because Amanda came and said hi to me at the Unravel Festival last week, and it meant so much for her to come up and say hi and say she enjoys my podcast. And Amanda, it was so lovely to meet you, so a big special hello to you, and I'm sorry it's taken me an extra week to actually say it, but hi, and thank you for watching. On the subject of yarn festivals in general, I have had a question on my Ask Me Anything post that was specifically about yarn festivals, which was PPXMan, who is Patricia. So hello Patricia. You asked specifically what my favourite yarn festivals are and kind of which ones I shall be attending this year. And I would say, to be honest, I'm not really the best person to ask about yarn festivals because I haven't been to a huge number of them. Last year I did go to the Stitching and Knitting show, I think it is called, and that was in Alexandra Palace, which I loved. I thought it was fantastic. It was a little overwhelming because it was very big, so not really the personal feel and that lovely cozy feel that I got at Unravel because the spaces were so much smaller and more intimate. But I will definitely be going again this year because it's so easy to get to. I also went to the Handmade Fair, which was really not a fibre festival because it was all crafts in general. It's the one that's done by Kirsty Allsop. And that was really good fun. I did some classes as well and I enjoyed that. I may well be going to that again this year. The next festival that I know for sure that I will be going to is Fibre East, which is coming up this summer. I already have the time blocked off in terms of work. I have booked off the weekend so that I know that I can get to Fibre East, and it comes very highly recommended from lots of other podcasters, so I'm very, very excited to go to that. I am pretty gutted that I won't be able to get to the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. I've never been, so I can't tell you whether it's, you know, amazing or not, but I love Edinburgh. It's a city that I just adore. It's where Emrys and I went on our honeymoon, funnily enough, and when I was touring, Edinburgh was the one place that I really felt that if I had to stay there indefinitely, I really wouldn't have a problem with that. So really gutted that I can't get there this year, just in terms of planning and expenses. It's not going to happen, but fingers crossed next year I will plan in advance and I'll be able to get to Edinburgh Yarn Festival. So to answer your question, I would pretty much say I would like any yarn festival. At the moment I feel that Unravel is probably my favourite in terms of the feelings that I got from it. But in terms of the future, I will be attending Fibre East. So if you're thinking of going, let me know. Maybe we can meet up and spend a little bit of time together. I always love meeting people, particularly yarny friends. So let me know. Send me a message, give me a comment. A little bit of housekeeping regarding kind of getting in touch with me and that type of thing. First of all, thank you so much to anyone who has tried to reach out to me on any platforms on social media. I've had people commenting on my Instagram, people tagging me in things, people commenting on the Ravelry group, and so thank you. It means so much to me when people kind of engage with all these different things. And I love doing this podcast so much, and it means a lot to know that you're also enjoying it. When it comes to the Ravelry group, I read absolutely everything that goes on every single post. I genuinely read every comment on every single thing. So if you have commented on anything on my Ravelry group, I will have read it. You may notice that I'm not that present on the groups, and I do apologise for that. The issue is that I physically don't have enough hours in the day. I work a full-time job as well as doing the podcast, and I found that keeping up with the comments on the group is really quite difficult. Like I said, I read everything, but in terms of commenting, sigh, I do not have enough time. I wish I did. I really wish I did have time to comment on anything. But at this point, I'm trying to find more of a balance to be able to do that more. But I would say if you really want to get in touch with me about something specific, or you have a question that you would like me to answer, the best ways to get in touch with me would either be to post in the Ask Me Anything thread in the Ravelry group. That is where I am kind of picking out all these different questions to answer on the podcast, or I can always answer you directly back in the thread. And anything more kind of personal, I would recommend sending me a personal message on Ravelry. I do tend to check my inbox very regularly. I may not answer you straight away, but I'm getting much better at answering absolutely everyone who sends me a message on there. So that's what I would suggest if you want to get in touch. Other bits and pieces that are going on for the podcast at the moment, I am so excited because our first ever knit-along, a Harry Potter knit-along, is going to be starting in like 2 days. The cast on day is March 1st, and we shall be running the Harry Potter knit-along for 2 months, so throughout March and April. All you have to do to take part is join my Ravelry group and knit something or crochet something that's to do with Harry Potter. And there is a thread on my Ravelry group all about the Harry Potter knit-along, and I am so excited about what you guys are making. There are some incredible yarn choices and pattern choices showing up on there, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks as the KAL progresses, I'll be able to share some other people's bits and pieces on the podcast, because I'm just so impressed by what you guys are planning. I cannot wait to see what you make. There's going to be a little bit more information about the KAL later in the episode. I have, again, pre-recorded a little video featuring the true star of this podcast, which is, of course, Rolly the Pug. So he will be coming up a little bit later as well. In terms of what I'm drinking this week, it's really cold, and the last couple of days it's been super cold, so I have been drinking tea like there's no tomorrow. And today I have the most amazing cup of tea. It is some Tazo tea, which isn't something that we usually have in the UK, but Emrys brought some home, and the particular flavour is passion, which is a blend of hibiscus, orange peel, rose hips and passion fruit. So it's a herbal tea and it is just gorgeous. I'm going to do my very best to not do the thing that I usually do when I podcast, which is to completely ignore the tea and then it goes cold and then I can't enjoy it because this is so yummy. But I will have to put this down while I show you what I'm working on. Okay, so let's start with what's on my needles. Again, I don't have any finished objects this week, you guys. I haven't done that much knitting because, like I said, I've been spending hours winding mini skeins, which is lovely, but it's a little bit sad from this end because no finished objects again. Boo. Some things very close to being finished, I must say, but nothing finished as yet. So I have something a little bit special to share with you right away. A little update on my Carebears Share Parma Violet socks, which you've seen before, so you know the drill with these. They're not really that much further than they were last week. But the special thing is they have a new house to live in. Okay, so amazing, wonderful, gorgeous Karrie from Freckled Whimsy, this is her card here, Freckled Whimsy, got in touch with me saying that she would love to send me one of her project bags to review, and she wanted to send one for you guys as well. How exciting is that? So I will be showing you the one for you guys later because it is a part of our prize package for the Harry Potter KAL. But this is the bag that she sent for me, and you guys, look at the unicorns. Look at this little sleepy one here. It is beautiful. This bag is her sock nanny size. It's amazing. I'm constantly overwhelmed at how talented some people are at the products that they're producing for the knitting industry. And Karrie, this bag is beautiful. It's really nice and sturdy. It's been reinforced so it can stand up quite happily on its own, which is great. I have added a little floofy pom-pom onto the zip because I just thought it looks so cute with the little unicorns on here. It has this great strap which is attached to the zip, so you can take this off, but I love a good strap so you can kind of have the bag hanging off. Plenty of space in this bag, and from what I can gather, they are designed so you can fold down the top like this and it can act like a little yarn basket. So it sits on the table, you can pop your yarn inside and then knit away, no problems at all. And how lovely is this? You can see the lining is this lovely floral purple, which is so cute. Suffice it to say, I am thrilled with this bag. I can quickly see will become a favourite for sock knitting, which for me is perfect because I'm all about the socks, you guys. And I feel that it's particularly appropriate for such a ridiculous kind of yarn that I have in here because, you know, this really does kind of remind me of unicorn poop. All of the pastel rainbow colours. So I'll show you how much I've done of these socks since last week. It's not that much, as you can see. I finished the cuff as I showed you last time, and I've continued working on the pattern. This, in case you haven't seen it previously, is just a Regia 4-ply in a variegated colour. I'm using the pattern of Hermione's Everyday Socks, and into my lovely new project bag it will go. So in terms of the bag that Karrie sent for you, I will be sharing that a little later when we get to talking about the Harry Potter KAL. The second thing that I've been working on again is another pair of socks. It's my Summer Night socks, which, yes, is a reference to Greece because this colourway is the Arne and Carlos Summer Nights colour, and I couldn't stop thinking about the Summer Lovin' song from Greece, and every time I took these out, all I ever wanted to sing was that. So these are my Summer Night socks, and as you can see, I have finished my heel and I am now onto the main foot of the sock. So again, a little progress has been done on here. See my little progress keeper that Eric bought me, my little Beauty and the Beast one, which I love. Not a huge amount of progress, but at least I'm past the heel, I'm onto the foot. So I find that these will zip by now that I'm kind of gone past this point. Knitting these on my 2.25 carbons, which I really like. I think at the moment I'm preferring the zings to the carbons, just because the join is so much smoother, but I love these needles. They're so sexy. They are like the sexiest needles you can buy. And as you've seen before, living in my little spaceman bag that I made myself. I am zipping through these works in progress this week, you guys. I feel like you've seen these projects before and I don't want to bore you about them. Next up, my Cozy Memories blanket in my lovely bag from Molly of a Homespun House. Now last week I had almost completed 2 full squares, and now this week, ta-da! 2 squares. Well, my squares each have 4 little squares in them, have been completed. And this is the square that I added this week with my rainbow sparkle yarn by Woolly Wonders, which I also used for my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles socks, or my Teenage Mutant Ninja socks, as I always seem to change the name whenever I talk about them. A lot of you, both on the comments of my previous episode and on my Instagram, were deeply confused as to how I could be adding in this square, because previously I had completed these 3 squares and I had not popped in this one. And the answer is, it's a lot simpler than you would think. I picked up the stitches around this edge and this edge as I was starting my central decrease here. And what I did along this final edge here is that every time I got to the end of a right side row, I would pick up one of this square's edge stitches along with the last stitch of a right side row, and at first I was knitting them together, but I found that purling them together actually gave me an edge that looked better with the garter stitch of this. So these are all purled stitches. This does give a slightly rougher finish than you would get, say, between 2 regular squares, and so it may not be for everyone. You can see along here it's a little bit more, I would say, bumpy than the other squares, but it doesn't bother me, and this is how I prefer to do my squares, in blocks of 4, because then, as you can see, I get this lovely crisscross of the decrease ridges, which I think is so pretty. So yeah, as simple as that, picking up an additional stitch and purling it together with the last stitch of this square. And what makes this process easier is, as I was saying on my last episode, when I start a row, I slip the first stitch and I do that purl-wise. I wasn't specific about that last week and someone was asking me about that. So I slip it purl-wise and then I knit into the back of the last stitch, which gives me a really clear set of edge stitches to be able to pick up, which basically was the same for this square when I was picking up the stitches for this. They're very, very clear and defined, which makes picking those stitches up and purling them together super, super easy. Pop that back in here. Have some more tea. Okay, tea update. The tea is kind of lukewarm now, but it's not cold, so let's get some in while it still has a little bit of heat. I'm not giving it the attention that it deserves. This may be the only one that I have. Well, I hope I have another tea bag of this because I really want to give it the proper time that this tea deserves because it's so nice. I don't even know where we would buy this. I'm gonna look online. I'm gonna see if I can pick some of this up online. So my last work in progress of what's on my needles is in my Adelaide's Cottage bag, which I raved about for long enough last week for you to get the idea that I love it. And, oh my goodness, you guys, I'm so excited to share this with you. Da 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 da! I finished the front! How awesome is this? This pattern is so simple yet so effective and I just love it. Look at it, and this yarn is amazing. Again, if you haven't seen this previously, this is Rowan felted tweed in the Aran weight, and then I have some Debbie Bliss Blueface Leicester Aran for the initial, and the front is finished. All I have to do now, pick up stitches for the sleeves, knit the sleeves, knit the neck, job done. I love it. For my first ever Netflix and knit project, I'm so happy with it. And I really want to get this finished. I'm not going to say by next week, that would be a little bit crazy, but hopefully within the next couple of weeks, because I have a lot of projects that I'm going to be casting on for the Harry Potter KAL. So it would be really good if I could get some of these other works in progress finished up so that I can really focus for the next 2 months on the Harry Potter KAL. Even though this is obviously Harry Potter themed, I have lots of new things to be working on. But yes, I love this. I love it. I love it. And I can't tell you guys how happy I am that so many of you seem to be casting on Weasley jumpers for the Harry Potter KAL. It's just, I feel like it's my mission in life to spread Harry Potter jumpers throughout the world and kind of spread the message of the Harry Potter jumper, because I know that when this is finished, I'm just going to wear it all the time because it's so snuggly, and I could wear this out. But I could also just wear it over pyjamas in the house and look awesome and be snuggly warm and have the best time. Couldn't be happier with it. Can you tell I like Harry Potter? I feel like it's got to the point that I am officially the unofficial Harry Potter podcast. Pretty much every segment that I'm talking about this week is Harry Potter themed. What's going to happen when this KAL is finished and I'm not talking about Harry Potter anymore? I'm not going to have anything to talk about. My Weasley jumper is going to act as a lovely segue into the next section of this episode, which, like I said, is a little pre-recorded segment all to do with the Harry Potter KAL, as I did last week. This week, I'm going to be focusing on what I am making for the KAL. I'm going to be showing you the projects that I'm going to be working on. I'm so excited to start them. So I'm going to hand over to Katie of the past with her little furry co-host. So I will see you in just a little bit. Enjoy! Hi everybody! So remember this from last week? It doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. It's a constant thing. I mean, at least I'm clean. But yeah. So yeah, here I am again with the star of the show, Rolly the pug, and we are going to talk about what I am going to be knitting for the next 2 months for the Harry Potter KAL. So one thing that I would say, I have a little pile of all the yarn that I'm using just to the right of me here, and Rolly wants it so bad. So just bear in mind, he may not be able to stay with me for the whole time, because if he starts eating the yarn, that is not the best way to start this month of Harry Potter joy. So yeah, I have a couple of different projects in mind for the next 2 months for the Harry Potter KAL. They are all socks, funnily enough. Those of you who've been watching for a while will know that I'm on a bit of a sock kick at the moment, so it's not surprising that every pattern that was really appealing to me was sock based. So let me just show you a couple of the things that I want to be working on. Look at this. Yeah, Rolly, I don't think this is going to work because you want to eat these. Oh. Maybe you should go on the floor till the end. How would that be? How would that be? Yeah? At least you've made an appearance, haven't you? You've given us your time for a little while. Yeah? Okay. Okay, so now I can show you the yarn, hopefully safely and out of the reach of pugs, which is always good. So you may remember this yarn that I have showed you previously. This is by Molly of a Homespun House. It's actually from her Harry Potter yarn club, which incidentally I am signing up for the second batch of yarn. How could I not? It's Harry Potter and it's Molly and it's yarn. It's like all of my favourite things all in one thing. But this colour, I wanted to save it for something special, and what's more special than my own Kal? It is called Xenophilius Explains the Deathly Hallows. It is 75% superwash BFL and 25% nylon, so absolutely perfect for socks. And I said in the first podcast that I shared this yarn with you that I was thinking about using it for some super cabled socks. And that is what I'm going to be doing. I have found a pattern, a free pattern on Ravelry, and I believe it is called the Bearish socks pattern. It's by, and again, I'm so sorry if I'm crucifying this name, Niii-iiiights. And the pattern is actually on 2 parts on her blog, and it looks incredible. It's very intricate cables, and I'm so excited to work on it. As you know from my cable sweater, I am a bit of a cable fiend as much as I am a sock fiend, so I'm super excited to get these on the go. They are on 2mm needles, and I think that they have a ridiculous amount of stitches on those needles. So I may not get them finished in the 2 months of the Kal, but I'm going to give it my best shot, and yay! So excited to finally use my special yarn. I love it so much. Next up is another yarn that I have shared with you previously, and actually I believe that Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast is also going to be using this same yarn for her knit along. So yay Mina, we're yarn twinsies, which is my London House Yarns, which is one of their hand-dyed sock duos in the 4 Founders colours. 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, so again super good for socks. And the colours in these represent all the 4 houses of Hogwarts in a self-striping sequence, and I thought to kind of counterbalance my super cabled socks, why not have a pair of vanilla socks on the needles as well. And I think with these I might actually do contrasting heels and toes in black, possibly, because I think it would look really nice with all of these colours. But yeah, that will be my second project for the Harry Potter Kal. My final planned project for the Harry Potter Kal is something that I am so excited to work on, you guys. I found this pattern last year on Ravelry when I was kind of browsing through different things that I thought that I'd like to work on. And I put it to one side and I thought, I'll definitely want to make these in the future, but maybe not for right now. And I came across them again when I was searching for Harry Potter patterns for last week's podcast. And I love this pattern, you guys. Let me just show you my yarn choices, and you'll probably be able to guess what theme I'm going for this project. So I have this lovely, this is just opal 4-ply sock yarn in yellow and black colours. So yellow and black, I wonder what kind of a project I could be planning with these colours, you guys. So I'm going to be making Hufflepuff socks, and this pattern is just beautiful. These socks are called Hufflepuff Pride, and the pattern was written by Anne Kingstone. So these are knee-high colourwork socks. They obviously feature this amazing pattern of badgers down the front. They say Huzzah Hufflepuff down the sides, and obviously on the sole they have this beautiful just colourwork pattern, which is stunning, and I love them. And the best thing about this pattern, you guys, is that Anne Kingston did not just make Hufflepuff Pride socks. She's made these patterns for all 4 of the houses. So if you have, like me and a lot of other people who are joining in with the KAL, if you've gone onto Pottermore and you've got sorted into your house, literally just go onto the Pottermore website. It's like the first thing that it asks you to do. You could join me in having a pair of socks that represents your house, because there are Ravenclaw Pride, there are Gryffindor Pride and Slytherin Pride socks. And also, I believe she does a deal. So if you are thinking that you would like all 4 houses, which I'm not gonna lie is something that I am seriously considering doing, you can, I believe, get all 4 patterns for the price of 3. It's the Slytherin Pride ones that have a code. If you go onto the Slytherin Pride pattern page, there's details on there as to how you can get all 4 patterns for the price of 3. So enabling as always, particularly when it comes to Harry Potter, so happy days. So yeah, at the moment I shall be working on 3 different pairs of socks throughout the Harry Potter Knitalong throughout March and April. It would be amazing if I could do more than just the 3 pairs of socks over 2 months, but even that, maybe pushing it a little bit, so we'll see. So for me and this little squidge, we will be handing back over to future Katie, so bye! Oh. I'm not that tasty! Yay for Katie of the past and Rolly! I don't think there is a way for me to stop Rolly licking me while I'm podcasting, but sometimes we all have to deal with hardships in life, and when someone is as cute as my little Poochie Poo, you pretty much let them get away with anything. But anyway, are you guys excited? Because I'm excited about the Harry Potter KAL, and in particular to get my project started. I have been keeping my Hufflepuff Pride pattern like under wraps until this week because I wanted it to be a surprise when I share it with you. I really hope that some of you will join me on that. I think the pattern is beautiful. I downloaded the actual pattern this morning and it's gorgeous. Just the way that it's written is lovely and it makes me happy looking at it. And yeah, I really want all 4 pairs, all 4 houses, and I would just wear them all the time. And I wouldn't even care if people thought that was funny because I think that they're beautiful. But for now, I'm just focusing on the Hufflepuff Pride. But yeah, rest assured, I love them. So kind of talking a little bit more about the Harry Potter KAL as we're on that subject, I have a little update on some of the patterns that I shared with you last week. One of the collections of patterns that I suggested that you may want to look at for yourself for the KAL was the unofficial Harry Potter knits collection. I have this week learnt that the digital download of that set of patterns, which I believe was made by Interweave, is only available to people in the United States. I had a little look online and there is a solid book version of a selection of those patterns, so not all of them. I believe that there are maybe 30 patterns in that set and there's like 26 or 27 in this version, which is called Knitting Wizardry, and it, like I said, is a solid book version of a selection of the unofficial Harry Potter knits patterns. It's available, I can see, on Amazon in the UK. I don't know where else it may be available if you're viewing this outside of the UK or US. So hopefully, if you, like I said, if you've completely lost your heart to some of those patterns, you may still be able to get your hands on at least a copy of one of them. But I'm just sorry for sharing something that isn't readily available for everyone, because I know that that can be really sad if you've kind of got your heart set on a particular pattern. But there are so many other lovely Harry Potter patterns out there, so fingers crossed you're not too heartbroken. Moving on to something slightly happier to do with the KAL, I am fully endorsing any form of double dipping that you may want to do with other KALs. I always like entering my projects into more than one KAL. It's always a fun thing to be able to do. And 2 people in particular have got in touch with me about wanting to kind of double dip and share the love in terms of KALs that they are also running. So first of all, Jilly from Knitting Broomstick podcast got in touch with me. Jilly is amazing and you should check out her podcast if you haven't, because she's fantastic. She's really fun to watch and I find her style really soothing when I watch her. It's a really nice relaxation time when I watch one of her podcasts. So hi Jilly, and thank you so much for getting in touch. She is also going to be running a Harry Potter KAL in April, and she is more than happy for people to start their projects along with me in my KAL in March, and then to double dip in April. I believe that the only restrictions that she sets are that you join her group and that you finish your project in April to be able to share it with that KAL. But go and check out her group and the thread that is specific to the Harry Potter Knitalong. Check out everything to do with that and show her some love, because the more Harry Potter Knitalongs there are in the world, the better as far as I'm concerned. So go check her out and double dip away. If you're interested in a little bit of triple dipping, I also had a message from the lovely Shannon from Socksetra, who is my new knitting BFF. We are totes BFFs, and she is going to be hosting a colourwork KAL, which is going to be running from March 6th until April 6th. And she noticed that a lot of the patterns that I was sharing last week were colour work, things like hats and that type of thing. And obviously the Hufflepuff Pride or Slytherin Pride, Gryffindor Pride, Ravenclaw Pride socks are all colour work. So again, you could do that project. You could share it in my KAL, you could go to Jilly's KAL, and you could go to Shannon's KAL, triple dipping, and think about all the opportunities that you have to win a prize if you're doing that. Like, it's a no-brainer. So again, go to Shannon's group, join her group, because you should, because she's incredible, and check out her colourwork KAL thread that I believe she has up. And yeah, triple dipping. It's where it's at. So this brings me to what I think is the most exciting part of this week's episode, because I finally have some of the prizes that have been so generously donated by different people for the Harry Potter KAL. Oh my goodness, you guys! I've been waiting so long to share these and I just can't contain how excited I am. So first up, like I said earlier, lovely Karrie from Freckled Whimsy sent me a bag for myself and also sent one for you. And this is going to be one of the first prizes for the Harry Potter Knitalong. Excuse any crinkling, it is wrapped up. It's in here. Look at this cute sticker that's on it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of my bag. I just think that's such a lovely touch. Now I want to leave this all wrapped up for you guys because it looks so pretty and I want to leave it in perfect pristine condition. So I'm going to insert a little photo here to show you exactly what this bag looks like. This is a photo from Karrie's website. Again, this is the sock nanny size of bag and it has a pattern of lovely little hedgehogs on it. It's so sweet. I was super tempted to keep this one for myself, but obviously unicorns won out in the end because who doesn't love a unicorn? I know I do. But this is the one that will be up for grabs for you guys. So thank you, Karrie, for sending this bag. It's beautiful, and guys, whoever wins it, I can say I love my bag from Freckled Whimsy. I've only had it for less than a week and I love it. So super exciting. And hedgehogs are amazing. The next 2 prizes, that's right you guys, we're already up to 3 prizes, were sent to me by Molly of a Homespun House. I can't tell you how excited I was when Molly got in touch and told me that she wanted to donate a prize to the KAL, which ended up being 2 prizes, which is just so generous. So thank you, Molly. And she's told me that this is actually the first ever giveaway that she has kind of sponsored. And I'm so honoured that she would do that for my little podcast. Oh, these prizes. Okay, so I'm sorry for any crinkling, first of all, but we have 2 skeins of yarn, 2 skeins of Molly's specific Harry Potter themed yarn, which are up for grabs for you guys. This one, again, I don't want to unwrap it because I want to keep it pristine and beautiful for you, is her Half-Blood Prince colourway, which I have been obsessed with for months, absolutely obsessed. I want this yarn so much. I was so tempted to kind of be like, mine, I will keep it forever and no one can have it, but just shows how much I love you, you guys, because I am giving this for the prize and I am not keeping it for myself. This yarn is Molly's Olsen fingering base, which is 75% superwash BFL and 25% nylon, and it is stunning. I think it's the most beautiful colours. You guys are so lucky. The next skein of yarn that she sent us, if you can kind of see the colours through here, is the Mermaid of the Black Lake colourway. This is her Bakken fingering base, which is 70% superwash merino, 25% cashmere and 5% nylon. This is the base that I used for my enchanted unicorn shawl with her unicorn tail colourway, and I can tell you this yarn is beautiful. It's so soft, it's so squishy, it's so luxurious, and the colours through this are beautiful. So again, you guys, you are so lucky and I want to keep this. I'm gonna let you guys have it for the Harry Potter KAL because that's how much I love you. I will give you yarn that it's breaking my heart to give away. So look at that, 3 prizes already for the Harry Potter KAL. I'm so excited. And this isn't even the total amount of prizes that we're going to be getting, you guys. I have had some incredible conversations with different people who are donating prizes. Like I said, I'm not going to mention them until I get the prizes in my hot little hands, but people have been so wonderfully generous and I can't thank you enough. Thank you to everybody who's got in touch offering prizes. As soon as I get more of the prizes, I shall be updating you and obviously sharing them on this podcast. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to divide all of the prizes up, whether they will be individual bits and pieces or whether I'll make little kind of lovely packages with more than one prize in each. But rest assured there will be prizes both for the chatter thread and for the finished object thread. So even if you don't finish something in the KAL, you stand a chance of winning something just by being present on the chatter thread. So for all you people who are already chatting away, getting yourself in there for some prizes and just being wonderful in general, because the chatter thread brings me so much joy. It's another tea update, you guys. And unfortunately it's gone cold. In my overexcitement at sharing all the prizes with you, I've neglected the tea. There's still quite a lot of tea in here and it's cold. Maybe after this podcast I can add some hot water into here. Would that be really gross? I mean, it would be a little bit watered down, but at least it would be drinkable, because cold tea, not so much fun on a cold day. Moving on from all that excitement, let's do something a little calmer. Let's have a little sit down and talk about some sewing. So for this week's Sew What, I haven't been sewing anything this week. I do have a lot of projects in the pipeline which are very exciting, which I will be sharing with you soon. But I thought what might be nice is to combine Sew What with the Ask Me Anything segment. So I do have an Ask Me Anything thread in the Ravelry group, so if you have a question that you would like me to answer, then please post in there. This week I am answering a question from Merrily Maid. Merrily Maid, who is Mary. Hello Mary, and thank you for your question. And I'm sorry that I'm struggling with your Ravelry name. Apparently all of the excitement has left me quite tongue-tied. But your question is, I would love to hear any tips you have for fitting your own clothes. To be honest, I find that when it comes to fitting your body, it's very similar with sewing than it is with knitting. And that is, anyone who's into garment making of any kind should be super familiar with your own body. Kind of body acceptance is something that I have, and I know a lot of people struggle with, and we tend to try and lie to ourselves as to what size everything is and where we've got lumps and bumps and that type of thing. And that's just not going to help you when it comes to fitting clothes. When you start sewing, first thing that I would recommend that you do is obviously being aware of your bust, your waist and your hip measurements. This isn't something that anyone other than you needs to know, so write it down, keep it updated, because I know my body type changes all the time depending on whether I've been eating a lot over Christmas and then whether I lose that weight or whether I don't, because I really can't be bothered to lose that weight and it just hangs around for longer. But whatever your body type is, get to know your body shape and those measurements. Just be honest with yourself and keep them up to date, because it's invaluable information knowing what your measurements are. I think particularly if you're starting out, you didn't say in your question as to whether you are new to sewing or whether you've been doing it for a little while, but I would say anyone who's new to the process of sewing, making muslins is invaluable. It can be really boring, I'm not gonna lie, because I don't really like making muslins, but as you may have seen from my Franken dress that I've been working on recently, I did make a muslin for that, and it meant that the fit was perfect. It's always good to do a little mock-up before you do your final project. Something that I actually picked up from Gretchen Hurst, who is the author behind all of the Gertie sewing books, so you may know of her blog, Gertie's blog for better sewing. She's also released a lot of different books that I would really recommend, so Gertie's book for better sewing, and she did a casual vintage book, and I believe she's bringing out a dresses book as well, although I haven't seen that one just yet. She often recommends, if you're going to make something with a lining, that you do your fitting and your sewing on the lining first. So you sew up your lining and you see how it fits, and then you can make your adjustments on that lining before you go for your outer fabric. And I think that's a really, really good idea in terms of fit, because it means that first of all, you're getting kind of a practice round on sewing your full garment before you go for the outside fabric, which is what the rest of the world will see. But it also means that you're not just wasting time and fabric on a muslin that you're never going to use, because it's going to be the lining of your outfit. But if anything were to go wrong with that, or you were to make any mistakes, it's going to be hidden on the inside of your dress or your jacket or whatever. So it doesn't matter if something goes wrong, because you'll be the only person that knows that that mistake is there. If I'm really honest, the only thing that's really going to help you in the long term is practice. A lot of trial and error and learning what works for you. It's only through years of working with different patterns, vintage patterns, indie patterns, more commercial pattern brands, that you really begin to understand how different patterns fit and how they will fit your body. It's more about giving yourself that time, giving yourself that practice, doing lots of mock-ups and going from there. I'm sorry that that's not a really specific answer to your question, Mary, but I hope that that has helped. There's no real kind of quick fix as far as I'm aware, but best of luck, and I would love to see what you're working on in the future. Right, I've got a little update for you now. As it's the last episode of the month, I will be sharing with you how I've been getting on with 50 points for Gryffindor. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will link a previous video in the show notes talking all about this scheme, my crafting point scheme for 2016. But basically, it's a way of me seeing what I've been working on. That then gives me points for finished objects, and I can then spend those points on new yarn or fabric and that type of thing. I wanted to do this to curb my buying and to stop me just adding to the stash willy-nilly. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, things have gone a little bit askew. And this is the first update I've done, and I am very disappointed in myself because I was naughty. But before I tell you how naughty, let's see what the scores on the doors are, shall we? So you may not remember, but the amount of projects that I have completed since January, I have finished 3 pairs of socks for myself, 1 pair of socks for Emrys. I also completed my cabled sweater. I completed my shawl, my enchanted unicorn shawl. I have added 8 squares onto my blanket. I completed my Franken dress, and I also sewed up a project bag. So all of those points together for additional points with pre-2016 stash and any new techniques that I have learned and things that are going into coordinated outfits, as those are my bonus points. And that gives me a total of 45 points since the beginning of this year in terms of what I have been making, which I don't think is too shoddy at all. I'm pretty happy with that. But the issue is, I went to Unravel last week and I picked up some yarn for different projects, and I may have got overexcited when other people were sharing yarn online, and I may have got more yarn than I meant to this month. So let's kind of show you the details of my shame. I bought my London House Yarn sock duo in the 4 Founders colourway. That was minus 10 points. I bought my 2 colours of opal yarn for my Harry Potter socks. 200 grams of yarn, that was minus 20 points. I bought my Rosie's Moments yarn from Unravel. That was 200 grams of yarn, minus 20 points. I bought my Billum yarn from Unravel, my lovely sparkly beautiful Billum yarn. That was 200 grams of yarn, again minus 20 points. And you may remember that I also picked up some lovely Harry Potter minis from Norah George. Each one of those bundles was 50 grams of minis, which means another 100 grams of yarn, which means another 10 points have gone. So, at the end of February 2016, I have a total of minus 34 points. I'm so ashamed, you guys. This is not how I wanted this scheme to go at all. I went to a yarn festival and I bought yarn that I shouldn't have purchased, but I wanted to purchase it, and I'm not going to feel guilty about how happy it made me to purchase that yarn. But basically what this means, being in this kind of a position where I'm at minus points, I'm not going to get too down about it. It just means that for a little while I may need to be on a bit of a yarn diet. But something you may have noticed is that some of the skeins of yarn that I acquired this month aren't actually taking any points at all from my grand total. I also got some lovely yarn from Jinx Yarns. I got my Cozy Memories kit. I got some little minis from Easy Knits at Unravel. The lovely thing about these things is that they were gifts. They were lovely gifts from other people, and gifts don't count. I found a loophole. It's naughty, I know, but you know, the stash editions was about me not spending too much of my money on yarn, so gifts don't count, you guys. You know, I can still get yarn if other people give it to me. I know, I'm absolutely terrible. I'm already on minus points and I'm finding loopholes to get even more yarn. I obviously have a problem. Things that I have purchased already as well. So my Harry Potter Yarn Club was purchased last year, so that's not counting towards this. I'm just going to be on a bit of a yarn diet, so there may not be a huge amount of acquisitions in the future of this podcast, maybe for the next month or so, while I work on the projects that I have. But I'm happy with that. And hopefully it won't be too much longer before I'm back into the positive figures, because I've got lots of projects on the go that need to get finished. I feel ashamed, yes. I feel like I may have let you guys down because this is my point scheme and I'm really not sticking to it as I should, but all that yarn made me so happy. So I will never apologise for that happiness. Let me know how you're doing with your own points scheme and whether you're like me and whether you've been really naughty and you're already in the minus figures, because we should make a club of people who've been naughty on the point scheme. And, you know, rub it in my face if you're like, you know, positive 100 or something. Will I ever get to 50 points and get my special trip to London to buy yarn? Who knows? Maybe that's what I should work on. Maybe I should work on getting to 50 points over the next couple of months. Yeah, watch this space and see if that happens. I don't think. Before I go, there's one little extra thing that I want to share with you. I have a little stash enhancement. It's not coming off my points at all because it's from my Harry Potter yarn club from Molly at the Homespun House. And like I said, it was purchased last year, so it doesn't count. But first of all, this is your warning. Anyone else who has signed up to the club who has still not received their yarn, look away, look away. This yarn is amazing and I do not want to spoil it. Look away, look away, look away. Are we safe? Cool, because this is the yarn. Oh my goodness, you guys. I've just noticed how well this goes with my jumper. How cool is that? That wasn't even planned. So this yarn, it kind of made me cry a little bit, you guys. This colourway is called After All This Time. You get the reference, don't you? In case you don't get the reference of the name, After All This Time, it refers to a conversation between Professor Snape and Professor Dumbledore in The Half-Blood Prince, which is my favourite of the Harry Potter books. And it's when Dumbledore is asking Snape, is he still in love with Lily Potter after all this time? And his answer is always. Which incidentally, look at the stitch marker that came with it. Always. With this little doe, which was representative of Lily Potter, because Professor Snape's Patronus was the doe. How much thought has been put into this. It's just stunning and so special, and I'm so happy to have it. Molly, you outdid yourself. It's beautiful, and I'm so happy to be a part of this yarn club. So that is pretty much everything that we have this week. Thank you for sticking with me again. I think we had a lot to get through this week. I didn't think it was going to be this long, but it's ended up being a pretty long episode again. But thank you for sticking with me and spending your time with me this week. I do tend to upload every Monday, so join me again next Monday. I have some very exciting things planned. I have my new Netflix and Knit project to share with you, although technically it's more of a Netflix and sew project. Exciting. We have some more Harry Potter KAL updates because obviously next week we'll be past the cast on and we'll all be working on our project. So I'm so excited. And another thing that I'm taking part in March is Eric of Sticks Plus Twine, his Exploration Station KAL. So I will be casting on my Exploration Station by Stephen West, and I will be able to share that with you next week. I need to get some projects finished because I've got a hell of a lot that needs to be cast on in the next week. So watch this space. Thank you so much for watching. Please come and find me on Instagram. Come and find me on Ravelry. Comment in the Ravelry group. But for now, happy sewing, happy knitting, and I will see you all next week. Bye!
This is what it would be like if we took over the podcast. Rowley, you're on the table, get down. Oh, knitting, sewing, oh, pugs, tea. I love all these things. I love you the most, Rowley. Yay!